Your Cavaliers are off tonight. They beat the Indiana Pacers last night. 98-85 is the final there. That's a sizable defeat.
Yeah, and they were down by 20 in the second quarter. Had an amazing run at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I think they scored 19 points unanswered. And it was great. And
was Karis LeVert playing for the Pacers or us last night?
He didn't play last night.
Because
they announced the trade just before the game. So he didn't play at all last night.
Karis, could you come into my office? The guys that we're playing tonight, you're going to be playing with them.
It's on the bus, actually. There's not even it was maybe an hour before tip-off that they announced that trade. A little bit more. It was so.
Is that a good acquisition?
I think so.
I know the name. I don't know too much about the player.
I think so. For what we gave up Ricky Rubio.
Oh, we did.
But he's got an expiring contract, and he's not going to play anymore this season anyway.
Okay.
So it's basically just to unload his contract for them to make cap space, and then rumor is he's going to re-sign with the Cavs in the offseason. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. I would like that to happen. He was really good for the team. And then one first-round draft pick that is lottery protected, and then a few second-round draft picks. So didn't have to give up a lot to get him.
Okay. Well, anyway, did you go last night?
No, I was hanging out with the family last night. So
all right.
Just doing some family stuff.
How was that?
It was good. Yeah, good times.
I went last night.
Did you really? See her there, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I went.
Hey, good for you.
It was a.
How'd you end up there? Did the business have a suite or something? Food? Free food?
No, it was random. Of course, they were free tickets. I have a friend of mine that sells for the Cavs, and she's like, hey, I have 4 tickets. Do you want to go to tonight's game? And I'm like, well, not really, but I know my brother would probably want to go, and he'll probably be mad if I don't.
Did you say that out loud, or did you just think that? Not really.
Yeah, no, I told her. I said, I'm not a sports guy, but again, I go because I'm a booster, and
Wait, you either are a sports guy or you're not.
But I don't go for the sport. I go for the guys.
I see.
Like, I'll go for the environment, but, like, it's...
So the boo in Booster is you looking for a boyfriend.
Yes.
He's trying to get boosted up.
Yeah. I always look at... I'm like, did we get new players? You're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, they're cute. Like, that's the only reason why I recognize that we have new players is because I find them attractive. Like, the Dean Wade guy, he's cute.
Had him for a few years.
We have a guy named Dean Wade on the Cavaliers.
Yes.
I always thought... Chetty was pretty attractive, but then, of course, number one, Kevin Love, and he scored like a really good shot there.
Him and Chetty both had very good games.
Yeah. So,
But you had fun? Did you stay for the whole game?
I left during the fourth quarter after we came back.
That's all right. Yeah. That's almost the end of the game.
Because I knew there was going to be traffic, and I'm like, I got to get up for work in the morning. I don't feel like sitting in traffic for an hour.
I understand.
And I made myself look like a fool.
Was it good attendance on a Sunday night?
Yeah, no, it was. It was a good attendance, great game, and we had really good seats. And my friend just chilled with us for a little bit until we were ready to go. We made ourselves look like idiots because we parked in a parking deck that I'm not familiar with, and I don't like it. It was like on Prospect, and it's like in a hotel or something like that. So after a certain point, it shuts down, and we couldn't get back in. So I'm cussing out my brother in the middle of the street. I'm like, see, I told you I didn't want to park in this parking deck because now we can't get in. And all we had to do was walk around. But
yeah, those are 24-hour parking garages.
They weren't. You had to press a buzzer, and then the lady at the desk buzzes you in. But I'm like, just go to my normal parking deck. Why do you have to be special? Why do you have to be difficult?
It really pisses me off too when they can't figure out the parking garage situation. When you go in and there's an attendant in the booth, and you pay for your parking then, and so you pay them, you're left with a ticket. And, some places you pay at the machine and then you go out to your car, right?
Yeah.
And you put the thing and the gate comes up. What I hate is when you go in and there's an attendant in the booth taking payments and you're left with a ticket. Hours later, all you have is a ticket. There's no one in the booth if something goes wrong. And invariably, something goes wrong. It won't read your ticket. We went to a game a while ago and we were trying to get out of the garage and the gate wouldn't go up. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm either going to break this gate or, what am I going to do? Honk? There's no one there. There's no number to call. There's nothing.
Some of them have like an assistance thing, but yeah, a lot of times you're just screwed. So then you just got to Jack Reacher the gate up.
Well, no, it just doesn't make sense. Like no one, if you had to have a payment to get in, to open the gate, to get in, no one is in there. No car is in there because they didn't pay. So the gate should automatically open.
No. What I'm saying is when we were in Grand Rapids last weekend for my daughter's performance, it was another situation where we pulled in to the parking garage and there was an attendant in the booth. And I paid ahead of time and she's like, don't lose a ticket. I said, thank you, I won't. And on the way out, it couldn't read my ticket. Please insert a valid ticket. So I just said, screw it, after trying to put this thing in 3 or 4 more times and paid the lost ticket rate. So they got another $24 out of me.
Are you kidding
Which
me?
isn't, what was I going to sit there? There's nobody in the booth.
Ooh,
so I'm like,
it's a scam. They did that on
well,
purpose.
all I'm saying is this is ancient. Parking garages are not a new development. They should either have it fully automated or have somebody in the booth when you leave. Because the whole I can't read your ticket. Oh, you can't? Because it's dead flat. I kept it in, my visor.
Nothing
and
touched
it's not
it.
crumpled. Yeah. But I'm not also going to sit there for a half an hour, too, when I can just pay $24, get the hell out of there.
It's all you got to do, and this is what I do. You just lose thousands and thousands of dollars a year at the casino, and you get to park for free. So you'll swipe your card, and they're like, hey, you're a valued member here. Thank you for all that money.
It's frankly the least they could do.
Right.
And they always do the least they can do.
That's all you got to do.
How much money do you have to spend to get the parking card?
Well, there's 4 levels of card, and it's the 3rd level. So the
Of
second
parking or card?
Of card.
Can you only park?
Free parking, so it's J, A, C, and K.
Does your parking correspond to the level you're at on the card?
Yes.
Hey, you got to park on 3 because you're level 3.
No, you only get free parking at the 2 highest tiers. So if you don't make it to the 2 highest tiers, you don't get free parking.
Okay.
But it takes a lot to get to those tiers.
Got to shed a lot of real tears to get to those parking tiers.
And
is
they're
what
like,
you're saying.
hey, anytime you want to come back.
Listen, I know your
gotcha.
your mascara is running again. That means you're on K level.
Hey, see?
I get it.
Keep
So you
going.
don't have the free part?
I do, yeah.
You do. Okay,
Yes.
so you've lost enough.
I've lost enough money to park downtown for free forever. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I wish I could have used you or whatever, because I was getting so mad at my brother because we went in there and there was this little box and it's swipe valid credit card to activate booth. And I swipe it, nothing happens. And my brother's like, you're doing it wrong. And he's trying to shake the machine to get it open. I'm like, let's break it. Let's do that. Two black guys out here.
It's not a vending machine full of chips
so-
either. There's nothing. You can't rock it back.
We
and
were
forth
rocking
to make
it. He was rocking
Oh my
it
God, that's
on
what I'm-
camera. And so we walk around to
And
the
especially if you have people behind you, because
so
they think you're a
frustrating.
moron.
Yeah.
They think that you can't figure. Because that's what I think when I'm sitting behind a guy. I'm like,
no,
you dummy. And then of course it turns out the thing's broken, and I feel like an a-hole. But
There was nobody behind us because we were walking into the garage. So we were trying to walk in the same entrance we drove our car through, and you can't get through that way. You had to go through the lobby of some apartment building or hotel or whatever. So this chick, when we finally make it in, we walk all the way around, and the secretary's laughing at us. She's just like, I'm glad you guys made it in okay. I'm like, what
She
are
watched
you?
you on the
She was
camera?
like, I was gonna buzz in. She's like, but the show was just too funny. She was
like her.
She was like, I was enjoying it. She was like, I was just gonna let you go. I figured you guys would figure it out, and you did. Welcome. I'm like, yo, bitch, she's just gonna leave us out there in the cold, shaking the machine.
Wow. She's an old bitch. She's probably 22 years old.
She was young. Of course, she was young.
Young and cute. And
Yeah.
She was like,
Tony's
have a
mad.
good night, guys. I'm like,
Alan, your parking ticket was undyingly flat. That is true. It was undyingly flat. Okay, listen, I've got to give you some money here. I don't have to. I want to. I want to give you
a good guy.
$1,000. One large. It's a chance to go fund yourself. So listen closely and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword HAPPY at WMMS.com. That's happy. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
Boy, they're not even beating around the bush anymore, if you'll pardon a small pun, on the ED commercials. We're just clicking around last night.
Oh, yeah.
Not last night, the night before. On the
I think I know which one
erectile
you're talking
dysfunction.
about.
Well, they used to really, it was full of vagaries, and it was a lot of, carrots, and it was a lot of other things. And now the commercials are, what?
But that was even the mid-level. The first ones were very clinical. And then they got a little tongue-in-cheek when I think it was probably about 10 years ago when they were starting to do a little more innuendo. And now they're just like, hey, you want to bang your wife? We got the pill for
Well,
you.
the one on Saturday was like, it wasn't anything outrageous, but it's a smartly dressed guy with spectacles on. He goes, look, if you want to get hard and stay hard, take this. I'm like, wow, I'd never heard the word hard. We all know that's what it is. The Cialis commercials used to be a couple of people in adjacent bathtubs holding hands,
Right.
or
in a
running
rowboat
around.
or
Yeah, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the guy's like, you want to get hard and stay hard. And it wasn't like some bar stool type commercial. It was, there were pastel colors and nice music. And wow.
It's like the guy who calls in and they just come out. Are you a pansy, Alan? You're just like, I guess.
I'll tell you what it is.
You're de-broken.
Right. When there were only...
Are you a pansy, Alan?
When there were only 1 or 2 boner pills out there, they could do that.
Yeah.
But the more competition you get, you got to scream to be heard above the din.
That's too funny.
So they're like, hey, guys, you want to stay hard?
What's the one? It's like couples saying like, hey, tonight we're going to have some coffee after the kids go to bed, or we're going to, and they're saying all their terms for it. And then it's an older couple and they bleep it out, but they go, hey, you want to F tonight?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many of them. I
I
don't
don't
know.
watch TV enough to see commercials,
I love the commercial for Tide where you don't want wrinkled clothes.
Oh, yes, that one's a
where
very
the
funny
kid
one.
comes up the stairs and his grandparents are in a closet. Something's falling off the shelf, and the grandma's trying to get it, and the grandpa goes in there and goes, here, let me help. And the grandson's coming up the stairs, and all he hears is grunting and groaning, trying to get this thing. I almost got it in there, and they come out, and they're all wrinkled, the implication being, you don't want wrinkled clothes because you think your grandparents are banging.
That's cute.
Remember the male enhancement drug Enzyte? The guy
Enzyte.
Bob.
Yeah,
he's
Natural
smiling.
Man.
That's the one that was-
This is Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's happy because his wife gets the high hard one. Or
Speaking
whatever.
of all this ED, are we really saving Berglund for the first day in the studio, or is he going to come in before?
Why, you got a problem
He's
about
got questions.
Something you want to
dude.
tell me?
No,
I mean, we waited
people
this
have
long.
called in and asked.
Yeah, I'd like to make it a big deal. I would like Ryan Berglund to be our first in-studio guest, providing that his schedule allows. Yeah.
Okay.
In the new studios.
We could.
But that's a sliding scale.
I hope we get into the new studios and there's like Obama's in town. It's like, I'd love to be on your show. It's like, no, Berglund first.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we have, since we are in the street level studio, can we have Dr. Berglund doing street side vasectomies? Just come get snipped real quick in the break, 8
Press
minutes.
it up against the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll use a butterfly knife.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Why
It
not?
might have been at the Romo Fijo a couple of years ago, and I was really dragged there. But I saw Street Side Vasectomies open for Mumford & Sons, and it was
Hey.
a delight. I've never seen so many gabardine vests and banjos in all my life.
So sad what happened to their main guy, their lead singer.
They snipped him from the band, and he was never heard from again. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not joking. That Mumford & Sons show, it was the night of... we took Beater out because a bunch of us took Beater out because it was like his he was going to have a kid or something, and so we're having some steaks and having some drinks downtown or whatever, and it was the night of the Mumford & Sons show at the Romo Fijo, and you want to talk about a fan base that looks exactly like
The band.
The band. Everybody gives like metal kids a hard time. Oh, it's all long hair and black t-shirts. Those Mumford & Son like super twee banjo type bands,
vests and
the fan base looks exactly. It's a lot of like unfortunate ponytails and vests.
Yeah.
And,
What
yeah.
was an unfortunate
Like,
ponytail?
Yeah. It's-
Like hats with the brim all the way around. Like the big long ones that it looks like Stevie Nicks would wear.
yeah, right. Yeah, big male sun hats. Yeah. But whatever stores sell that sartorial choice, they're in luck, boy, because those
H&M,
kinds
I
of
think.
bands, huh?
I said H&M, I think.
H&M, yeah. Well, yeah, if you're a Dutch toddler, things at H&M will fit you, but other than that,
Mumford & Sons, aren't they? I feel like they're all pretty skinny.
no.
No?
No, they've
Why'd you sing it?
there's no, a bunch of married dudes. I'm sure one of them are, but I think
In the earlier days,
Munson.
maybe.
What's his name? It's not Munson.
Mumford.
It's
Munson
Mumford.
Mumford.
I think Marcus Mumford or Malcolm Mumford. I think he might have a little pooch.
Manfred.
Manfred Mumford. And these are my sons. We're all the same age. So anyway, Cavaliers are off tonight. They will play tomorrow night back here at home. They're going to play the Spurs of San Antonio.
I believe that's on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wednesday. You're right. Wednesday, 7 o'clock is when your tip-off begins. So 6:30 is when that pregame will happen. The only bit of the Olympics that I have seen is yesterday in my son's hospital room when skiing was on. But boy, does life at the Olympics sound amazing. It sounds so fun.
The sex?
I can't, huh?
The sex at the Olympics?
On a concrete cut?
No, I don't even think that's, I think everybody thinks that's what's going on, but it doesn't sound like that's what's going on. Athletes
Not
are.
this year.
Well, I'll just read you this headline. Athletes are crying like crazy in hellish quarantine with miserable food. And if you've seen anyone post this food that they get, hope is dead as dozens
Oh my God.
miss out on their events after testing positive and being carted off to isolation camps. They're getting tested all the time, and so there are all these. Listen, set all the China stuff aside. It's not the athletes' fault. What's going on? These people train their entire lives
Right,
to be in the Olympics. But obviously there's a political component to it too, just by virtue of where it is. But imagine training your entire life. And a lot of these people have been in multiple Olympics, but it doesn't mean you train any less hard. You know, you bronze in one, you want a gold or silver in another or whatever. And then just not being able to compete because you got like a positive test or something. I don't know. People posting grim pictures of their food. I love the word grim.
Yeah.
Yeah, attached to food. A Polish skater was left crying uncontrollably after repeatedly being taken to isolation over unclear COVID tests. It sounds like a blast over there in the Olympic gulag. People say the conditions are unacceptable. The rooms are too small, unhygienic, and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, I don't know who's paying attention. I was talking to somebody over the weekend who was like, "Oh, I love the Olympics. I love the Olympics." I'm like, I didn't even know they were on. Like, I heard people talking about the Olympics kind of buzzing around my ear in the background. I noticed that there was some Olympic conversation going on, but I literally didn't realize that it was like happening right now.
Yeah, I think it started on Wednesday or Thursday last week, or maybe Friday. I don't know. I don't know what day it started. But remember last time they were in China, it was the Summer Olympics, and people were blown away by the opening ceremony. And people were talking about that for days because it was such a big production. And this one, it's just no one is even, like, my mom was like...
Well, because they can't have people still in the stadium, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're... Because I have watched none of it. My mom was watching it the other day when they were snowed in. She's like, "Oh, I'm watching some women's hockey." I'm like, you don't care about any of this. She's like, "Oh,
Hey, they beat
what
Russia."
Else am I gonna do?
Yeah. Wow. So if you've seen any of the photos of the food that they give these people,
What is it, gruel?
No, it's like one of those compartmentalized styrofoam things, and it looks like it's got a couple things of rib meat, and then there's some like plain penne.
Whose ribs?
Huh?
Whose ribs?
Don't ask. Polish gymnasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They stick right out. You can pull them right off the
that
bone.
Dutch reporter that they pulled off live TV.
Yeah, right. And then like a thing of like hastily cut pickles, and then something in the corner. I don't know what it is, but
Well, what, you gonna take your time cutting pickles? You got things to do. You got a lot of pickles to cut.
well, you got to mass produce this gruel for people. So I've got to take a break. You want to get something in text wise? You can do it 35192. You can watch live if you like at AlanCoxShow.com, and you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.